Namaskar friends, this is Sudeep Sen from Uttaran ETC. In today's module, we will discuss about various stages of a engineering project because most of our sales for engineering products will be a part of the new projects and new constructions because maintenance of any plant will have some requirements of the engineering products, but that is much lesser in percentage than the new constructions. Suppose one oil refinery is under construction. So for a new refinery, the amount of electrical, mechanical or instrumentation engineering items required, and for the same refinery, once the construction is over, it gets shifted for operation and maintenance. That time the requirements will come down maybe 1% or maybe even less than that, whatever they have consumed during the construction phase. So our target, if we have to achieve, we have to focus more into the project sales where some new construction are taking some shapes. So that's why we need to understand different stages of a project. First step is the conceptualization stage. When for any big project, government or private sector large companies, they conceptually conceive that idea, okay, this particular investment can be made into this area, and they just start toying with the ideas and the informations. That is the conceptualization stage. Next, if they find that okay, this can be explored further, there is a kind of a viability, then they do the project feasibility study, whether really that project is commercially viable and technically feasible. That feasibility study is being made. If we get good results out of the feasibility study, if everybody find that after the feasibility study that this project is going to be profitable, then project management consultant is being engaged for that particular project. They are the specialist companies who has vast experience of constructing and designing this kind of projects. So they, one consultant will be engaged accordingly, and that consultant, with the help of the end user, they will start the preliminary engineering of that particular project. After the preliminary engineering is done, then the detail engineering and vendor approval, specification writing, fixing of the bid qualifying criteria, etc. will be done. So this is the very, very vital stage to make a good sales, profitable sales in a new project. In the detail engineering time, you have to talk to your decision making customers who can speak in your USPs, your lock-in specifications. During that engineering, they can write, they can select that which model and part number will be really good for their projects, and then they will also do the vendor approval or approved vendor list, that for any particular item maybe 3, 4, 5, 7 people's or company's name should be there as a approved vendor list. So your name also has to be there in writing there, number one. And number two, if possible, to remove some of your competition's name from the approved vendor list so that your competition is getting reduced. But first of all, you have to ensure your name is there into the list. Otherwise, tomorrow, whatever you do, good work, it may not fetch any result, because in the documentation your name is not appearing into the tender. So please ensure that in this phase you work very closely with the customer and put your name into the approved vendor list. You put your favorable specifications into the tender document. You put your favorable bid qualifying commercial criteria so that everything as best possible in your favor you make it in this stage. In the next stage is tendering, because once it is all done to the approved vendor, the inquiry will be sent with the given specification and everybody will quote. So you will also quote there for the tendering, and after the tendering is done, the order placements will keep on happening. Order placement, if it is a large package, then maybe it will go first to the EPC companies. EPC means engineering, procurement and construction. That one single company is doing all these activities, large companies. For example, Larsen Toubro. They are one of the very famous EPC company in India. Now, the successful EPC company, they will further distribute the orders into sub packages to some MAC. MAC means main automation contractor, who are supplying, for example, PLCs, DCAs, this kind of systems. Then there will be thousands of field instruments, electrical machines like motors, pumps, valves. So all these items will have large packages. So now, depending upon your company's product, whatever you are selling, you have to find out what is the real chain for you, whether you should contact the MAC or you have to contact the field instruments package vendors who will be buying your particular component. And then you be with them. Already your name will come as a approved vendor into that documents of the tender. Your USPs are well set into that, so technically, commercially you will be accepted. You do good negotiation and get the order. Once you have got that order, then you have to get involved into the supply and installation phase of the project. In this phase, your technical things as well as little bit commercial things will be involved, because during the installation and before the installation, the material movements will be there, whether the material has reached properly, whether the GRN has been issued. Now you may ask, what is GRN? We will discuss later. Whether the dispatch documents has come all properly, whether the packing list has come properly, or in case some equipments has reached but got damaged during the transit, then how quickly you can replace it. So this kind of all supports you have to provide. Next is coming commissioning. Once it is installed means is mechanically and physically you have all installed the products. Now once you start connecting and giving the power to the equipments, the equipment starts functioning, talking to each other, controlling the automation systems, controlling the productions, for example. So then it is called commissioning of that stage is commissioning. So you have to also get involved into that in the commissioning stage. And once the commissioning is fully done, that means now the plant is operational. Plant has started manufacturing. So in this operation phase, you have to provide your support to the operation and the maintenance group. In case any fault arises during the operation, then for the routine maintenance, whatever the spares required or the service support is required or some technical know-how is required, you have to provide. So your involvement starts from the conceptualization stage and goes up to the operational maintenance stage. So in all the continuous path from A to Z, as a good salesman, effective salesman, you have to be in touch with your customers. So your customer should find you as a partner to their project from the day one or as early as possible of that project, and then till they are running the plant. At any point of time, if there is a problem, they should find you. So this is the various stages of a project, and hope now you have understood. But thumb rule is that as quickly as possible into the project, take your entry, and at least before the stage of detail engineering, vendor approval, specification writing, this is the phase. Because if you enter after this phase, that means already some of your competition companies has done all these things in a documented form into the tender document, and then it will be very difficult for you either to match that document criterias, because your competition company has done it. Now it is a difficulty for you, or just you have to throw away some prices, cutting your own profit margins to win the order. And then from tomorrow, start thinking that whatever quotations or projects at this moment you are handling, where you are, in which stage of these projects you are for individual your offers, and then you can make your own evaluation for the present active cases, how you can play on that projects. And then whatever the upcoming projects are there in your knowledge, now it is the time you go and start doing the activities with your decision making group of the customers, and influence that activity during this detail engineering, vendor approval, specification writing phase itself for those projects. And maybe those projects will take shape after few months, but that time it will be a comparatively much easier game for you, because you have already influenced the whole documented things into your favor. Thank you very much for listening patiently, and please join me for the next module as soon as possible. Thank you very much.